What's up, Game Boys and Girls? Big T here, back with another video. And yes, the title is correct. This could be the end of gaming for me. Actually, this kind of came on because of Rob of Ruler 2 review. Shout out to him. He had a video, I think, saying something like, the Switch 2 might be my last console. And I never really articulated it that way, but I agreed 100% with that video, and kind of wanted to do my own. I talked about this a little bit when I was talking about physical games and whatnot, and how that is changing at this point. Because Nintendo was kind of the last holdout to the situation as far as physical games go, and a lot because a lot of people are mad at them right now because of game cards, and I'm like, this is not a new thing. Even though we've been getting games physically on a disc, a lot of times, if you're not paying attention, a lot of those games are not actually on the disc itself. They've been key cards, basically, or key discs, much like computers used to be, with PC gaming used to be, before they just completely got rid of those as well. And that's the thing that kind of scares me too. This is like the last straw, basically, before there's no physical at all. So basically you had to download these games from a server, and that server is contingent on the company still viable, so in the future that physical game that you have may not be physical any longer. It won't even matter. It'll be worse than digital, because you can't, it's not like you can re-download it when you have a key card. So at least with digital you can re-download, again, until the servers are gone. But yeah, I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, I've talked about this many times throughout the history of this channel, but I actually have a video way long back talking about, I think it was called Broken Gamers Equals Broken Games, which talked about me just kind of bowing out if this was going to be the future of gaming, as far as everything's going to be downloaded, games are going to be released broken, not incomplete, unfinished, or they're just keeping stuff off of the game to sell to you later. I talked about this 10 years ago on this channel. It's crazy, it's been that long. And here we are. This is what happens when you give these companies too much power. This is not a nefarious thing. This is a bottom line thing. They're just protecting their bottom line. They want to make the maximum profits. That's what companies do when it comes to serving their not constituents. I'm talking about this politics. Serving their investors. Is that growth. At some point, you're not going to grow. That's just how it works. You can't continue to grow and grow and grow. And that is the problem with companies in general. They're not happy in just being profitable and solvent and making profits and being fine and being able to pay everybody. They want to grow. If you're not growing, you're worthless to these investors. A lot of the times, it's like, well, you're here to make me money. I don't care about anything else. Just make me more money. And it's just like, well, they're making you money. Isn't it good enough? No. They want maximum profits. That's why I said a lot of these companies, you see smaller games. When it comes to the bigger companies, the major publishers, they stop making smaller games because they don't care about small money anymore. Even if the money that they make is enough to sustain the company that's making them, they feel like that's a waste of their resources. They could be making big money, and so they don't want to waste time on smaller games, and that's how it hurts us. So that's why I was always really happy about indie game studios and what they were doing, the innovation they were doing, the types of games that they made. They kind of came and saved the AA market from just completely going away. Indie games have, and it's crazy how far indie games have come. So I was thinking about Switch, and it's like all the indie games that I got on that system physically, that's just not gonna be a thing anymore, because of what Nintendo was doing. And yes, some people got mad about my last video when I talked about this. Yes, this is a Nintendo problem. This specifically is the fact that they don't offer an option for these smaller companies who want to put the games out physically. Because at this point, based on the reports, I will say that based on the reports, they only offer a 64 gigabyte card, which is the most expensive, obviously, and it's just too expensive for smaller companies to purchase. I think the reports are that it's around $15-16 just to buy the card empty, and then you got to put your game on it, and you got to do marketing, you got to do distribution, and so it's just too expensive. The margins aren't good enough for them, and I understand that the margins aren't. Some of the bigger companies say that the margins aren't good enough for them either. That's why we're getting key cards, and or digital only, because they want to make more money. And so some of the games that we got on Switch, physically, we're not going to be able to get. So I've got some here. Obviously, we got Bravely Default. You guys know that is, I think that's the remake of the first game. And it's a key card as far as I remember. And here, this is a physical game on the cart itself. So that's going to be a thing of the past. Obviously, we got Doom. Doom is fully on this cart. The multiplayer is the one thing you have to download, so there is some download required for the multiplayer. But the game itself is fully on this cart, and that's awesome. You're not going to see that anymore. Microsoft, because they own Bethesda now, they're changing. They don't care about physical at all anymore. And even though they're putting out physical games, most of those games are just like, key card or key discs where you're just downloading the game anyway. And this is the thing that brought warmth to my heart, is that CD Projekt Red gave us there's too much light here. You can see it. Witcher 3 Complete Edition. So this has all the DLC on it on a 32 gigabyte card. And I mean, CD Projekt Red, it works a little bit better for them because this game was old when they put it out. So you put it out, the DVD at full price, or excuse me, the DLC at full price. They're still making a decent profit. I think they were very happy with the sales of this game. I think it hit over 1 million, if I'm not mistaken. And this was, I didn't need to buy this. I had this on Steam Deck. I had this on Xbox already. And I just bought this because I just thought it was cool, first of all, to have a Switch version of this game. It's crazy to me that they were able to make this, but I bought it because I wanted to support that kind of practice. I wanted to support those practices, but even doing that, I'm only throwing CD Projekt Red a bone because nobody else is probably going to do that, as you can already see with Switch 2. And you could just forget about games like this being on a cart or a disc, or maybe a disc is fine, but on a cart specifically in the future, you could forget about it. So it'll be Sony with the PlayStation. They'll be the only ones that are viable to put physical games out for indie games, and I'll just have to do that, I guess, until that's completely washed up, because eventually they won't be offering that either. And Owlboy, which is a fantastic platformer, by the way, if you haven't played it, check it out. It is fantastic. I played it first on Steam Deck, or on Steam. I don't even know if I had Steam Deck at the time, but this is fantastic, beautiful artwork. And I already had it digitally, and when the physical copy came out, I jumped at it. I wanted a physical copy of the game for preservation purposes, for collector purposes. Just I like that kind of stuff. And so here's another one from Devolver, The Messenger. This game had gotten super expensive because there weren't many physical copies made, but I think they replenished the stock, and so all those people that bought this game at like $150, you wasted your money because they reprinted them, and it's like 30 or 40 now. So you won't see this on Switch 2 though, even though, because that game is megabytes in size. Like, it's probably less than a gig for sure, and you won't see those physically. They won't even be key cards for something like that, probably. They figured that'd be a waste of their time. Here's Grease. I think it's pronounced Grease. I pronounce it that way. Fantastic kind of puzzly platformer. Beautiful art. And this game also was expensive at one point, but I think they reprinted this as well. This is the reprint, actually, because I never got it when it was that stupid expensive. But, yeah, I mean, you'll never see this on physical in the future. That just forget about that. And games like this game here, Cavern of Dreams, which is a kind of homage to N64 platformers. It has that graphical style. It looks fantastic. I got it on PC on my Steam Deck first. And then I was like, oh, they made a physical copy of it. For sure, I want to get that. And I just love that. It has this kind of shiny foil. Probably hard to see with the camera and the wrapping still on it. But it has like a shiny foil look to it, which I love. And you can forget about seeing this in the future. Her Bomb Chicken. This game stood out at one of the Nintendo Directs some years ago. And I thought it looked awesome. And again, they won't waste their time making a physical copy. You're going to put this game on a 64 megabyte cartridge? No, you're not going to do that. That's insane. I don't know why Nintendo doesn't offer more. If they, again, if the reports are true. Azure Striker, I got this on 3DS years ago. And it was only digital. It was digital only on that system, as far as I remember. Because I don't remember there being a physical at the time. And this, I just dropped it. And this is that game, but kind of remastered. Definitely remastered for, a bigger screen. And it's great. I love this game. This is one of the best games. The best kind of like not Metroid. Mega Man style games that you can get. Nighthawk, is it Nighthawk Studios or Nighthawk Interactive? For the longest time, it's Inti Creates. I thought that this was a Capcom game. It felt like a Capcom kind of, I said, Mega Man style game. And yeah, you can forget seeing this physical. This would have never happened on Switch had there only been 64 megabyte carts. The Trine series, which I started playing on the Wii U, it was digital only then. And then when I saw that there's a physical copy of it, this actually has, there's different versions of this, because this one has, this is Trine 4 is digital, I believe, on this, and the other 3 are physical. So I think there is a Trine 4 physical out there somewhere, I can't remember. But again, a game that I love, a series that I loved starting on Wii U, that's a, PC game, PC series. I just said, hey, a physical copy, for sure I'm going to get that. Another Wii U game or not Wii U game, but a game that was like promoted on Wii U. This is like, a lot of indie games, especially when it came to the Wii U, they got a lot of shine because a lot of disgruntled fans were on Wii U, and they're happy to see like anybody come, especially like the we call it the indie game studios coming and making games and talking about Wii U. And so I got wind of this game back then, Clive and Wrench, but it didn't come out until actually mid to late Switch, as far as the physical copy goes. Yeah, this is a great kind of like Banjo-Kazooie style, partner platformer type of game. Clive and Wrench, pretty cool. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is like a spiritual homage to Jet Set Radio, and that. But it's cool because that was before we knew Jet Set was coming back. Sega's bringing this back, Jet Set Radio. But here, this is a game that you will never see physically on the Switch 2. There's another one, another spiritual successor game, Wargroove, which is a spiritual successor to, again, a game series that we didn't know was coming back, but it got a remaster, and that is Advance Wars. Goodness gracious. Advance Wars series, this is like a spiritual homage to that. And then we got, just a little later, a couple years later, we got the announcement for Advance Wars 1 and 2 remastered. But you'll never see that again. The only football game on the Switch, American football game. There is international football games like international, what do they call it? Whatever the EA soccer. I guess it's still FIFA on Switch, but they changed it to FC at this point. But yeah, Mutant Football League, which is a really good game, by the way. You'll never see that physically on Switch 2. Same thing for Chicken Police, which is a funny kind of noir game with animal, what do they call it? Not anamorphic. Animals that are human-like, humanoid animals, kind of noir detective game. Fantastic. Cinemora EFX or EX. Again, another kind of indie game that you'd never see physically. Really good, very hard game, by the way, Cinemora. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but that's how I like to pronounce it. Oh yeah, Ease 8, Lacrimosa of Dana, or Dana, or however you say it. I always say Dana, but this is a PS Vita game that got ported over at some point from Falcom. And I think it's kind of expensive at this point because it's kind of rare. But yeah, Ease 8, you'd never see that physically. Earthlock, you'd also never see physically. As you see here, super rare. Picked up the slack with that, and that's the same thing when it comes to limited run. So a lot of these games don't hit retail really, but you have like limited run, you have super rare. There's another studio, another company out there that does these. This is one of my early faves on the Switch. Kind of during the 2018 drought, I think I got this game, and it's fantastic. A fantastic story. It's a story-based game. Like it's kind of a walking simulator, if you will, with a unique art style. But I enjoyed this immensely. And again, you'll never see that physically. Here's Stardew Valley, which is one of those cozy games, farming simulator type games. Again, this is an indie game that would just be digital if it wasn't for the era we're still in, at least. But that era again is fading, sadly. Another cozy game, Yonder. The Cloud, what is it? Cloud Catcher. Yeah, Cloud Catcher Chronicles. Again, another game that you will never see. The type of game you'd never see on Switch 2 physically. And some people, it doesn't matter to them. To me, it does. I love physical games. That's what I grew up with. Again, it's part of it is also the control. I don't like the companies having that much control. I tend to buy things that are physical. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to stick around for part 2 and other great videos like this. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to see more. Peace.